So, are you ready to do some really full-on colour, joyful watercolour pieces? These lovely ammonites. I'm going to show you step by step how I produce them. Welcome! Welcome if you are new. Today is Doodle Club and my name is Kate Field and I release art tutorials every Monday and Friday and a little Wednesday wandering in the middle of the week. You are very, very welcome. We're going to be using watercolour paints and we're going to have a lot of fun. Are you ready? Let's go. I'm going to be working in my sketchbook today. I'm going to be using watercolour paints. These are my Paul Rubens ones that I really do like. I've given them a bit of a squirt with water. I've got a lovely soft brush and I'm going to work on the double page, but we'll start on this side first of all. Now the first thing we're going to do is to just put a bit of water in the middle, which obviously you can't see, and then I'm just going to blob some paint. I'm going to be using purples and blues. Gone back to purple and blue again. Just putting it round here. So as I said in the introduction, I live in Dorset in the southwest of England by the sea, and our bit of the coast is called the Jurassic Coast because there are lots and lots of fossils dating back to the Jurassic Age, which is a very, very long time ago. But it means that on the beach, along with the sand and the pebbles and a few shells, we have fossils. And we have a lot of ammonites. And I have so many, just because they're just on the beach. There they are, just sitting there waiting for you. Oh no, just very nearly dipped that in my tea. Oh goodness me. Here we go. And I love the spirals of ammonites, and I just thought I would do this because, to be honest, I'm getting a little bit fed up with Christmas decorations and Christmas cards, and maybe you are too. So we're going to take a bit of a break from Christmas cards and we're going to do ammonites. So I've put the paint there. I've got some white bits and that's fine, and I'm going to do another one on this side while that one is drying. As always, I say to all of my students and the adults in my class that time is precious and we need to be doing things while we're waiting for something else to dry. Now obviously you could just go and have a cup of tea or something, couldn't you? Or do a bit of daydreaming, but I like to work on about 2 or 3 things at the same time. Just putting this in, letting the colours bleed out. So I'm slightly more pink going into the purple. Make that a bit wetter. Just let the paint flow across the page. Add a bit of red in there. So this is slightly different colour. Obviously the fossils on my beach are not pink and purple, but this is my artistic interpretation because I can. I think that's the kind of the main thing, isn't it? It's my sketchbook. I will do what I like in it, and as can you. So there we go. Thank you so much for all your wonderful comments and for all of you who really embrace what I try to impart. and thank you so much. Your stories are just so wonderful. If you haven't commented yet, just tell me what the weather's doing, because I know that some of you are experiencing a lot of snow, but also some of you are going into spring and summer. So let me know and we can just have a bit of a weather round the world weather update, can't we? There we go. So I've got 2 double pages now, no, 1 double page that are going to be turned into my spiral ammonites. Well, this is all lovely and dry. I did actually leave it for a few hours. I wanted it to be completely dry before we do the next bit. Now, the next bit, some people find quite scary. And so what we're going to do is have a bit of a play, because we're going to be drawing spirals for the ammonite, and they've got to be quite big. So I suggest you get a separate sheet of paper and just have a bit of a practice at drawing spirals. It doesn't matter which way round they go. Just do whatever feels comfortable for you. But I would suggest that you do quite a few. Just have a bit of a play and get your spirals going. Because what we're going to do is do the spiral on top of this. Now I'm going to be using watercolour pencils, which will dissolve, and I'm not sure if the white is going to come out, so I'm going to try this grey to begin with. So we're just going to see what happens, really. So see where we've got this purple bit in the middle? That's going to be the centre of my ammonite. So I am going to just do my spiral all the way around like that. I'm going to do it that way round. I might go out the edges as well, and then this one I'm going to go round the other way. Let's do this, just keeping it nice and free. I know you can't see those very well, but that's okay. You get the idea. That's why I wanted to show you on the other pieces of paper. Now I'm going to be continuing to use my watercolour paints, my Paul Rubens, but I'm also going to be using some vibrant watercolours, the Annalinky. I will put a list in the description of everything that I use. I've also got some metallics, and when you use metallics, they work best if you put them on top of the colours that you've already done. So I've done a little bit of green metallic there, rather than just doing the metallic onto white paper, where they don't look very good, actually. Then people think that they don't work, and they do. So I'm going to just move this here to make a start on this bit. Now, if you think that it's not quite right, it doesn't matter. This is just like a guide, and you can adapt it as you go, as you'll see. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is to activate my paint. Let's make it all nice and wet. I've got my pot of water. I'll need to do a squirt on the Annalinky paints as well and get them all going. I'm going to keep to these colours and you'll see how it works, and we're going to start in the middle and work out. I do like this. Once you kind of get into it, it can become really, really relaxing, and I'm hoping that that is what is going to happen. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have my centre bit just as the a little dot in the middle there. Let's just pop that in there. And then I'm just going to put the line just around there, just so I can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to start to put in the shape, those lovely curves that you get. And we're going to be working with these shapes. I'll show you in just a moment. So think about what colours you want to use. You might to use the colours that you've got already, your existing colours, or you might want to add some other ones. Remember that the watercolour paint will react even if it's dry. It's not like acrylic. So I'm just putting a bit of blue, sort of purpley blue, just on this. Going to be adding some water, just sort of bring this middle bit is the tricky bit. It is a little bit on the tricky side, but I want this bit to be darker around the edge. We're going to go in with some details, leaving some space as we go round. And one of the things that I love about doing this kind of painting is that you can take your time and just do a little bit and just really enjoy it, because this is the whole point of this particular tutorial. So just putting in those little bits of colour. It will react with the paint underneath just a little bit like this. And we're going to just work our way all the way around. I'm not going to do the whole lot. I'm just going to show you a little bit of what I do. Let that water bleed in. See, I'm just sort of building this up. I love these colours. They're the sort of colours that I'm going to just really enjoy working with today. Let's let that one come through. Can you see how it's all sort of moving along, which is what we want. Just with these, at the moment, these sort of turquoises and blues, which I think work really well. Line that. I'll just show you this big one. So darker at the edges, like that. I'm not going to use any white. You could if you wanted to, but I'm just going to keep these quite vibrant, the colours. Bring it up like that. I might do some tiny dots of white right at the very end with an acrylic pen. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure how it's going to go just yet. And that's fine. We can do that. Just a little bit. It will be a bit messy to begin with. Don't worry about that. I'm going to add a little bit of metallic just to show you. Just add a little. You can't really see it until it dries, and then it gives a bit of a shimmer. So I'm putting the metallic paint directly on top of the wet watercolour paint. Okay, I'm going to move into a bit of green here, picking up on this green of that background. Again, I'm going to take the edge just a little bit. It's very good exercise in brush control and paint control. This is why you need to have a brush that will go to a nice tip. That's going to be important. Just bring that other bit of green in. Of course, the ammonites on the beach where I live are not this colour. They're very beautiful. They are, and they're fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. There we go. Although today is not a day for fossil hunting because it is tipping down with rain now. It was just, oh my goodness. Yes, I was hoping to go for a walk this afternoon, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a bit grim. There we go. So picking up on that one, I've probably got too much water. Have a bit of tissue if you think that you've got just a little bit too much paint, and you can just lift some of the paint off. So I'm just going to go around this edge here. So this is the technique, just little bits of paint, then water. Let's just, so in the same way that we let the paint bleed in the background, it's the same sort of thing. It doesn't matter if it goes into the other space, because we're going to define those a little bit later. So to build this up, I'm going to just do this one around here. This one's going to be more of a purple. Let's just put in that. Make sure that you get all your kind of curves going the right way. Again, that's why it's quite good to practice on another piece of paper, just to practice your spirals. They're so decorative, I think, spirals. You do lots of things with them. Just going to let that bleed into the water. I might leave a bit of white, that white paper showing through. I think I'm going to leave that I'm going to do this little green one up here. There we go. Just enjoy it. Gradually building up our shape. Now put your brush in the direction that your ammonite shell forms. It just makes it flow a little bit better. So put a little bit of dark green in the end, like that. And then this one, again, I'm going to do is in the sort of purples, purpley blue, like this. You could do a whole combination of colours if you wanted to. Or you could do it in very muted colours. That could also look really quite lovely. Let's just get that bit like that. So I'm going to do some more on this one and then it will dry. I'm also going to do one on this side as well, and then I will show you how I kind of then work those details. Well, this one's coming together. I've done a little bit more. I did a line of paint around this edge because it was not quite in the right place, quite where I wanted it, and that's okay. Now I'm going to come round into this bit. I think we'll do a little bit of purple in here. It will bleed into that blue and that's fine. Just little strokes with the brush. And I don't know whether you can see some of the metallics, because I was just layering a little bit on there. And as I said before, when it dries, you'll get that little bit of sparkle. I'm going to carry on with sort of purpley blues coming around this bit. So again, dark at the edges. It's very, very dark, this purple. Keep adding some water. Let it move about. Like that, and then while it's still wet, I'm going to add some metallic. See a little bit of shimmer there picked up in the light. We're going to be doing some details when it is all completely dry. Don't worry about this sort of bleeding out here. I actually think that looks really lovely. Yeah, I really like that that effect that the paint, when the paint moves about, with a bit of green here. And it, you mix up your colours, try different ones, try colours that you haven't used before. We're all a little bit guilty of our favourite colours. I definitely am. There we go. It was a few weeks ago we were having a conversation about favourite colours and the colours we go back to time and time again, which was very interesting. I was telling the story of when I think I was 15, and for a whole year I just wore black and purple and my school uniform. I think it drove my parents crazy. So thank you for all your lovely comments. I really do appreciate them. Yeah, it's just, we've got a terrific community here. I'm totally blessed to have so many lovely people messaging me and in the Facebook groups as well. If you like Facebook groups, we have two very, very friendly ones that you are very welcome to join, completely free. The details are below. We have Friday Art and Doodle Club, which is a general one for anyone just doing anything. And then we have Open Studio, which is for any of you who are doing my courses. So I've got a few courses, and if you're doing something specific, perhaps you're doing the Quiet Path. I know quite a few people were doing the Quiet Path through November, because it's 30 days, but you don't have to do them consecutively. But that's all. Quiet Path is completely free. It's available on YouTube if you'd like to have a go. There's an accompanying book, but it's one of those that you can just sort of dip in and out of if you want to. And Open Studio Facebook group is for people who are doing that sort of thing, and just share your own journeys, which is lovely, because I think it's really important, as when we're artists or creators, or even if you're just beginning, to be with other people who are also on your journey and who can support you. I think it's really, really nice to be able to be part of something like that. I'm just doing this bit here. The Facebook groups are also places where you can ask questions, although you can ask questions on the comments here. I read every single one. I really do appreciate all of you, especially those of you who come back week after week. Oh my goodness. I just feel I have a whole network of new friends. It's just so lovely, isn't it? How lovely. All right, let's just leave. I'm going to leave that now. I'm going to start on this one on the other side. I'm going to work in the same way, starting in the middle and coming out. And then by the time I finish that one, this one may have dried. But if not, I'm going to go and make myself a cup of coffee. But I think you can see how it's all coming together. We are going to be doing some things around the outside as well. And we're going to do some little bits of details in the middle. I will be back shortly. So I was just starting to do this one, and I thought I would show you how I use yellow in these spaces. And the yellow will react with the colours underneath, but obviously in the white spaces, the yellow comes out. And so this ammonite is going to be sort of more oranges and yellows and pinks, I think. I know I started off with a bit of blue there, but I'm just going to fade that one out into the purple, because I'm thinking that orange and yellows will kind of contrast quite well. So I'm just going to add a few bits exactly the same way. But you can see that with watercolour, it will react with the colour underneath. Obviously I've got the pink underneath. And you put the orange on top and you get a more kind of intense orange, which is rather lovely. And my paints are drying out, so I'll just give them another squirt. Let's just put some orange here. And I'm liking how these colours are working together. I think that's quite good. Quite pleased with this one. So I'm going to carry on with these. I'm just going to add a bit more pink, I think, to this one, in these warmer colours. And I did make myself a very nice cup of coffee, so that was good. And I didn't dunk my paintbrush in the coffee, so that's a result. Oh dear, how many times have I done that? Oh dear. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do for the rest of this one. So warmer colours, and then this one will dry in about half an hour or so. I'm going to come back and do the details. So I'm going to go back to this one now and just do a little bit of detail. And I've started to do it around the edges. And what we're going to do is I'm going to use a bit of blue, I think, very dark turquoisey blue. I'm just going to put that there, I think. Just going to take it around the edge like that, and then just do tiny little brush marks around there. Add some water and then just let that bleed. And then I'm going to pick up metallic. I'm going to use this blue here. Make the paint very, very wet. And then go in over that, and you'll see that the paint will bleed in, and then it will start reacting with the purple underneath, and we can start to blend like that. We can just move it across like that, and I think it has a very good effect, and I really like it. I think that's quite good fun. So this bit is now dry. That will have to wait to dry a little bit, but what I'm going to do now is some details using an acrylic pen. You could use a fine liner pen, and you need to have one that does actually have a fine tip, and I've just realised that one I should have thrown away because it is running out, as so many of my pens are at the moment. Right, here we go. Oh dear, just as I thought I was getting myself organised. Now, once again, I am going to start in the middle, and we're just going to use the acrylic pen just to sort of bring out some of the lines. We're going to do a few little patterns on these as well, which I'll show you. Bringing round there. There we go. Just a little bit, little lines. And I am going to make them a bit wiggly in a moment. Just bringing those lines, those arching lines like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few little kind of wiggles, because these ammonites have lines of patterns. They're just so lovely. So I'm just going to do a few around, like sort of like wispy bits in a way. Just a few lines on each bit as we start to pull this together like that. A few little wispy lines coming out of that one like that, and I'll bring those around, and then I'm going to start to do some things along the outside. Let's just do a line around there. See, and that's where that bled out, so that's just gorgeous, like that. There we go. A few lines here. And now what I want to do is to sort of bring some lines that are coming down here. So I am imagining that this is kind of like the sea. I'm just bringing the pen across the shape, coming down like that. See that? I'm not very happy about this bit, so I'm going to go over some of these again. You need to make sure that the pen you use is not going to run. So this is where acrylic pen is very good, because once the pen has dried, you can then paint over the top of it, and that can work really, really well. I'm just bringing these together like this, and then I'm going to have some spaces within these shapes that we can then play with, because I do like to play, and I do like to encourage you to play as well. That's still wet over there, so I'm leaving that bit. And that should be all right. Bring that over there. Little kind of wiggly bits to bring it together, and I will do the same for this one as well. So that's the black lines, and then the next thing we're going to do is to use white. So again, I've got a white pen, and we've already got little bits of white where the paper was, and I'm just going to put in a few little dots just on the sort of middle of some of these shapes. Just sort of a few little highlights, as if it's sparkling. You could also use silver. Go full on with your metallics. Like that could be great fun. Right, I'm just going to do little white dots like this, bringing those there. So I would love to know what you think, whether you're going to give this one a go, what colours you're going to use. And I'd love it if you share what you do. That would just be amazing and so lovely. And don't worry if it all went horribly wrong, because we just have to keep practicing. So can you see how the white then just sort of lifts it up a little bit as well? Now, when that has completely dried, I am going to do a few little bits to finish off. I'm going to do a bit more on this. I'm going to add a few bits of gold, and then we will be done. And I'll show you what they both look like at the end. Right, moving on to the next bit where I'm doing these bubbles, these circles. So I did the wavy lines, and then what I'm doing now is just putting in these little bubbly stones, I think we can call them, and it's just putting them on here. This bit over here is still a bit wet, but this bit's dry, and I thought, oh well, I'll show you what I'm going to do on this side. So lots of different shapes, as if they're pebbles or bubbles, like I said. I do love this technique. It is great fun. Again, I'm using an acrylic pen so that the paint won't smudge, and the pen will, the black will stay. And then for some of these pebbles, I'm going to put some colour. I'm not going to do all of them because I don't think it needs to have all of them, but just a few, because obviously I've got the paint underneath as well. So just sort of shading in some of these. You can see that it's all coming together, and this is something you can keep adding to. So you could do a bit and then just leave it to dry and come back in a few days and do some more, especially if you are getting really fed up with Christmas decorations. Oh, I do love doing the Christmas decorations though. Obviously you might be watching this in March or something, so but I'm recording this, what's the date? The 7th of December. So yes, I've just been making a whole load of Christmas cards with trees. So I've definitely gone down a tree route. If you haven't watched them yet, they're all available, where I've made lots and lots of different sorts of Christmas trees based on triangles. I do like triangles. So there we go. So you can see I'm just colouring in some of these bubbly bits, and to leave that to dry, and then I'm going to go in with the black pen and just do a little bit more shade. To do the same on this one, I can pick up a few on here. So some are bigger than others. Others I'll just leave with the colour that they already are. But it's coming together how I would like to, and I'll do the same at the top as well. So I am going to play with this a little bit more, and then we will come to the end. Well, I've just about finished these, I think. I've put a few bits of gold highlights in, and I've put a few more white acrylic marker dots and things like that. There's still some of it that is still wet, so I might do a few more bits, but I'm really liking the energy of both of these pieces. Well, I really do hope you have enjoyed this tutorial, that you've got lots of ideas of how you can create your own wonderful watercolour ammonites. Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't subscribed yet, that would be absolutely brilliant. And I will see you next time. But if you want to see some more, check out this one up here, because I think you're going to love it. Take care. Bye bye.